Hi, it's Kim with Getting Bolder. And today I wanted to talk about something that's really improved my life, both as a tool and kind of as a toy. And it's AI, artificial intelligence, specifically an app called ChatGPT. Now, I will tell you right up front, ChatGPT is probably the most basic AI you can download and start to play around with. It's kind of the AOL of AI. And for that reason, I think a lot of older adapters really like it. It is simple. They've worked the kinks out. There's not a lot of bells and whistles. It can get you a lot of bang for the buck, especially when you consider there is no buck. It's free, at least in the simplest version. If you get really fancy with it, you might want to upgrade, but we're not talking fancy today. We're talking about 5 uses for artificial intelligence that can improve your life right now. First of all, remember that AI is a tool. It works for you. You don't work for it. And it basically is kind of like the internet's greatest hits. It compiles information from a lot of different websites to give you. So the information that they give you is only as good as what it finds on the website, i.e., it's not infallible. But it is a really good kind of roundup of the general information on the internet for almost any kind of topic you can come up with. The variety of things that AI can speak to continually amazes me. Here's some examples. In a previous video, I was talking about how if you want to upgrade your walk, one of the things you can do is download GPT, and just ask it, what are some good 2-mile walks for a 70-year-old in the town where I live? And it will spit out a lot of alternatives, which are interesting in and of themselves. But the really cool thing about ChatGPT is not only does it give you this roundup of great walks with a lot of information, like the length, whether or not it gains altitude, whether it's paved or a gravel path, it gives you plenty of information to make your choice. But it also will then ask you a follow-up question. In this case, what part of town do you live in? So I can find you one even closer to your house. And those follow-up questions are part of, I think, the beauty of AI. Let's look at another example. My son's birthday's coming up. I wasn't sure what to get him. He's always hard to buy for. He kind of has everything. But he and his new wife really love to grill. And I knew that was something he wanted to get into more. So I did an AI search on grill items, specifically that young people like to use, kind of like the more hipper cutting-edge grill items. ChatGPT spit out a very specific list of things I might want to consider that were highly rated, but then ask a follow-up question. What kind of grilling do they like to do? How much money do I want to spend? Exactly how old are they? And these follow-up questions are dynamite because they really allow you to kind of make your search even more specific to your question. I did 2 that relate to my next upcoming road trip, my drive across the country on Route 66. So for every place I was stopping, I did this kind of search. Things to do in Amarillo, Texas. Okay, it spits out, as you can see, 5 of them. Some of them predictable. The Cadillac Ranch is kind of what put Amarillo on the map. But also some unusual ones. Like they've got one of those crazy places where you go and if you can eat like a 5-pound steak, you get it for free. That's kind of fun. And again, it asks follow-up. What age, how long am I going to be there, blah, 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 blah. So there's a quick look at a snapshot of 5 fun things to do in Amarillo, Texas. I'm also trying to sell some Native American art along the way. And this was even more helpful. I did a search of like galleries that represent this particular artist along my route, just put in the places I'd be driving. And it generated 6 different galleries that actually carry works by this artist. Do you have any idea how long it would take me on my own to research art galleries across the Southwest that carry a specific artist, much less have their contact information generated for me because I was able to follow up with what are their emails and drop them an email saying when I'm coming through and what artwork I'm going to have. It saved me literally hours, not to mention stress and anxiety. ChatGPT also has a lot of good advice about health, wellness, fitness. Here's a search I did on what do you do if you're 70 and you're deficient in magnesium, because everybody's deficient in magnesium. Here's something I just really recently did. ChatGPT is very meta. I'm kind of like, hey, What would YouTube think if I had a title for a video? Hi. What could YouTube think if I had a title for a video? Make AI your bitch. And ChatGPT wasn't really into it. It gave me the advice that I might limit my audience reach, that I might scare off advertisers if I use the word bitch in that way. It has suggested more user friendly alternative titles. So sometimes it doesn't just give you information, it can actually give you advice. And it can be crazy fun. When you ask a question, you can insert a picture. And this is something that I got on a real kick a while back with doing. I took a picture of my dog Thad and I said, show me Thad as a human being. And it did. And it's so on the money. Oh my God. If Thad were a person, he'd be a little old, kind of rabbi. This is just Thad in a nutshell. And then I said, hey, here's a picture of me. Show me as a dog. And don't I look a little like Thad? So it's very, very weird. It proves we're a dog and owner match made in heaven. But you can do stuff like that all the time. You can put in a picture and say, hey, show me as a flapper or show me as a Victorian lady. And it's just really fun, show my best friend, as a bird. What kind of bird would my best friend be? And that, I got to tell you, it is just like, it's the best toy. So not only can it give you information, make that information more specific, be a super fun toy, but it also can organize things. I put in, what if you just have 2 hours at the Whitney Museum? What are the must-sees? And it spit out a 2-hour itinerary broken down in 15-minute increments of what you could do to see the most at the Whitney Museum in 2 hours. Bottom line, don't be afraid of artificial intelligence. As long as you remember you're the boss of it, it's not the boss of you, it actually can be a really flexible, interesting tool that saves you a lot of time and actually even generates ideas you never would have thought of. I'll be really excited when I see that 72-ounce steak in Amarillo, Texas. Do you think I can get it down? I am a carnivore. And so please play around with it. Download ChatGPT. Like I said, it's free. Play around with it. Ask it questions. Ask it follow-up questions, see if it works for you, see if it is helpful for you. And always remember, as seniors, we don't need to be afraid of technology. This stuff, I know it doesn't like for us to say it that way, it's a bitch. Talk to you later.